I'm here with Rick from Tomorrow's here in JC, and I didn't get to come to your grand opening here back in the beginning of June, and you were telling the story here just a minute ago about how fast of turnaround that was.
Yeah, it was a huge undertaking.
To get from just getting in, the keys and getting into the door to the time you unlocked it for clients to come in. So I thought I'd come over and do a fool around and find out, because I think maybe people don't know about Tomorrow's, and people may drive by, they see the sign, but they don't know what you have going on inside, or even a secret that you have hiding out back.
Yes, sir.
So Rick, tell us a little about your road from the time you started thinking about this place to the minute you unlocked the door.
So I just separated from active duty Army. I spent 19 years on active duty. In my last...
Thanks for your service.
Thank you. And I knew that my transition into civilian life was going to be something. I started putting in applications. I wanted to be a real estate agent, but then I just felt like, being a small business owner was my calling.
Sure.
And I just wasn't sure what that business was going to be. But as I was training up to be a real estate agent, I started looking more into commercial properties, and so that's what got me into this path. And when I noticed that this particular building was for sale, and I saw it, I thought it was a beautiful building.
It is.
I'm a musician myself. I've been playing guitar for over 20 years, and when I saw the stage and the open floor plan, I thought this would just be a perfect place for a new live music venue for Junction City.
I totally agree. I think as a DJ and somebody that's been in the radio and bar business for more than 25 years, I see a place and I automatically see how it can be a success. And I think you've got a great success starting here at Tomorrow's, both with the stage setup, and I like the care that you've taken with how you've set that up. Both clients will enjoy the way they can view the band and hear the band, and also the care that you've taken right over here with the green area for the bands, which is rare.
Yes, sir.
You know that as a somebody that plays in a band, and I know as somebody that's been working in the business for a long time, that doesn't happen very often. So the care that you've taken, that just shows attention to detail and consistency. And I think that will always help being in the bar business. Not that I'm any expert, but I've been doing this a long time. But I kind of want to touch on your hidden little gem out back.
Yes, sir.
What do you got going on back there? I think it's pretty cool.
So it's a very large patio, covered patio. It's a 20 by 40 covered patio with a 50 by 50 foot yard that you walk down to, where we can host all type of different events. We could do cornhole tournaments. We could do, for this fall, we've already got plans for hosting a beer garden. I'm going to set up a 20 by 30 foot canopy with fest tables so everybody can go outside and enjoy the fresh air, and we'll have a cash bar available. And right now I'm still looking for a polka band to do some live.
I'm sure you'll find one.
Yeah, some live music just on the porch for a good vibe and,
sure.
and for people to enjoy. But when I separated from the Army and when I found this place, I didn't waste any time. I didn't take any time for myself to transition into the civilian world, because I knew that I had a very limited amount of time to make this happen.
Yep.
There was 3 or 4 different buyers for this place that were already lined up, so time was already against me. So I sold a lot of my personal possessions, some of my prized possessions, just to raise the capital to get the down payment. I sold a Mustang, I had a truck, a motorcycle, and all the things that I thought were important to me at the time. I just sacrificed all that and I raised the capital. That was the easy part. The hard part was getting approved for the SBA loan.
Right.
And so there was a lot of folks that were saying, SBA is really hard to do, there's a lot of requirements. And being in the Army for so long, I said, all I need is a checklist. And I got my hands on a checklist.
Get that list.
And Miss Nadia from the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce was a wonderful mentor to me, and she gave me all the tools that I needed to execute. And from February until the last week of April was the time it took to get that done and approved for the loan. And the day that I closed on this bar, I was out here with a ladder and a paint roller, and I did all the exterior painting myself. And I did 18-hour days every single day with the help of my ex-girlfriend at the time. Things didn't work out, but I still got to give credit where credit's due.
Sure.
So it was my ex-girlfriend and I, and we were in here working 18-hour days until the grand opening, the 3rd of June.
So that is a very quick turnaround from the time you get the keys to unlock the door to the time you do a grand opening, and you're planning a grand opening in that time frame. So
yes, sir.
You're not only painting and you're polishing floors and stuff, but you're also planning a grand opening, which we happen to be a part of, which was awesome.
And we had 2 bands that
it was a busy night. I saw so many pictures, and it was the vibe was great. I really see some positive things. You can tell that the care you've taken into what you've done, both in the remodeling and the fixing of the small things, and the attention, like I said, attention to detail, I think is really going to set this place apart from a lot of other places.
Thank you.
So I really like the back area. I keep bringing that up, and I think something is really cool. You told me a story off camera about a couple that hadn't been in here in 30 years.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
So tell me about that.
I was probably only open for 2 weeks, and I was working the bar at the time, and an older couple sat down and they ordered a couple Coors Lights, and then
Come on in, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. So they ordered a couple Coors Lights, and they said, hi, we just wanted to say we haven't been in here in a really long time. I said, well, welcome back, welcome to tomorrow's. And that's when they said, we remember when this was yesterday's, and we actually met here back in the 90s, and we got married, and we've been married ever since. And that floored me, because that was like because this place was called Yesterday's, that was the whole premise of the name.
The callback.
The callback for tomorrow's, yeah. And so that really... that gave me the confidence to know that I was on the right track with the vision and the direction that
another clairvoyant moment.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then your DJ now that talks about the fact that when he was a DJ here 30 years ago as well.
Oh yeah.
So
Michael Anthony, he actually told me a story. The DJ booth used to be up here, up high, and they had the CD decks and everything. And he said he
remember those days.
He said he wore a tuxedo.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, the whole nine.
I remember those days too.
But he came in.
Mullet days.
He came in and was just asking. He just asked me directly. He said, Ricky, if you'd like me to run karaoke, and he said I would be honored to come back in here when it's tomorrow's to be your DJ again. And I was like, how do you say no to that?
It's pretty tough.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Because I was, being a new business owner, I'm the bartender.
You're everything.
I'm the door guy. Mm-hmm. I'm everything. And I was also running karaoke at the time, which I didn't do too bad. I got some good compliments. But I knew I couldn't be behind there all the time.
Nope, you can't.
But when Michael Anthony came through the door, that was perfect fit.
Good deal.
Yeah, and so it's good to see him back in here in the old Yesterdays and the Tomorrows doing his thing.
See, and that's I like to see those bridging the gaps between what it was then and what it can be now. So you can definitely tell when you look around the room the feel and the care that you've taken to remodel the place. And the passion that you're bringing every day.
That means a lot. Thank you.
I think the people in Northeast Kansas, especially Junction City, will definitely enjoy that. Enjoy coming in here. You have some other interesting things that probably should talk about. In fact, you got karaoke on Fridays, right?
Karaoke. It was every other Friday, but it's been such a big hit and popular that we decided that we're going to do it every single Friday from now on. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of folks that were really happy about that.
I'm sure. Yep.
And I've got live music booked out for the end of the year. Every Saturday, you can expect some type of live music, and we don't stick with any one type of genre.
Yeah.
We got country bands, we got blues bands. Like this Friday is going to be a heavy metal band, and we booked them out a long time ago. But we're also showing some love for the heavy metal scene here in Junction.
Okay.
And basically, the criteria is if you play instruments, you can get a booking on Saturday. Now, if you're a rapper or an artist that likes backing tracks, we do host open mic night every Wednesday night. And so that's
Cool.
a good time for singer-songwriters to come out and,
Cut their teeth.
present their new material. We had one gentleman that had never played live in front of anybody before, and he chose to come to our open mic night and perform for us. It was a special occasion.
That's cool. That's awesome. And what's cool is that, there's going to be some people out there that didn't even know that you do that, and they'll find out through this that that they can come and do that.
I'm glad that you mentioned that too, Dan, because we already had our own comedy night, and that went really well. We just took all the tables and we pushed them closer to the stage, and we had this nice comedy club feel, and everybody enjoyed themselves. And our bartenders served at the tables, so
Good.
It was a nice night.
Everybody likes a good comedy night.
Yeah, they came out of Springfield, Missouri, so.
Oh, good. Yeah, it wasn't like, we didn't have like Martin Lawrence come in.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Martin Lawrence, that's a little ways back, but you have one other thing that you have coming up that makes you very rare. It's the UFC fights. Tell us a little bit about that. How you went about coming to that conclusion you wanted to do that.
So every time my clientele comes into tomorrow's, I'm always asking them, what can we do better? What can we do for you? What do you like to see? And it just was, some people were like, hey, are you doing the UFC fights? I said, well, no, I didn't think about that. And I'm glad that I asked, because I looked into it, and when I realized that nobody else in Junction City was offering any UFCs, I was like, well, there's a void I got to fill for the town. And I've said it during the grand opening, and I'll say it again, this isn't my bar, this is Junction City's bar. I want to make a place that they're proud of, that they can come to and they can enjoy themselves. And if there's something that I can provide for them, I look at that like I'm providing a service.
Absolutely.
And so the only other place that you could go to enjoy the UFC fight outside of the house was Buffalo Wild Wings all the way in Manhattan. And, I'm looking at the logistics.
That's the drive.
It's the drive, it's probably going to be crowded. You got the college kids in there. And so I was like, well, let's do it here in Junction. Let's make it available for everybody here and make it more convenient. So we installed the projector screen here. It's a 100-inch projector screen that's connected to a surround sound system. We have 4 other flat panel televisions around our pool tables. So, you're going to find a place that you can watch the game comfortably. And we're only going to charge a $7 cover charge for you to come in and enjoy that event.
That's very reasonable. So that's awesome. And speaking of games, you also have NFL Sunday Ticket, right?
And the NFL Sunday Ticket is here, and we're starting that this Sunday. And I would like to remind everybody that we're going to remain open from 10 a.m. to midnight all day on Sunday. So between
long day.
Between the that's okay.
That's all right.
Because we're serving breakfast during that time between 10 and 2. It's during our brunch hour, and then you can enjoy it and watch the games, or you can hang out and.
One last thing, and you hit on it real quick. You're open early.
Yes, sir.
What times are you open early, and why did you come to that conclusion?
Well, just like the UFC, I saw that there was a need for Junction. I noticed that there was no place in town for third shift workers to get off work and be able to go to a place and socialize, have a beer with their friends whenever they get off work. So it's basically their happy hour. Everybody likes to get off work. Well, not everybody, but most folks like to get off work and have
You got to wind down.
decompress. And if you're getting off work at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, there's really nowhere. You can't even really go to Walmart at 7 o'clock in the morning right now, or they open up at 8 o'clock.
I don't know. I try to avoid them as much as I can. But you're right, though. There's no place for. I remember working that shift and getting off work at 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was no different. That just because you're getting off at 8 o'clock in the morning doesn't mean any different than somebody who gets off work at 5.
Absolutely.
You still need to want to wind down. You still want to go somewhere with your coworkers. So why not have a couple hours where you can go somewhere and hang out and have a couple of drinks? It's no different than the 5 o'clock happy hour, except for time.
Now, speaking of time, Dan, this is a huge undertaking because you have to remember we're turning a bar into a breakfast diner in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
And we are a small, humble crew here at Tomorrow's. And I have the best employees Junction City has to offer. If it wasn't for my cook, Tim, to brainstorm the equipment that we would need to be able to provide the omelets and the biscuits and gravy, this could never happen. I've got two bartenders that are very loyal, that want to see this place succeed also. B and Katrine, they work nights, and then B comes right back in the morning and has this place open for everybody at 6 a.m.
It's tough to do.
And Rebecca is our weekend server in the mornings from 10 to 2. So we're looking at a crew of 4 providing breakfast and all these
I
services.
feel like you work at a radio station, because that's pretty much what that's how we run.
Yeah.
We run on the skeleton crew all the time as well.
But
If you can't tell from the bags under my eyes, yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it.
gotcha.
But if
It's a labor of love, though. That absolutely is.
And if it wasn't for them, none of this would be possible. And I'm telling you right now, I'm very grateful for the crew that I have.
I will say that you can definitely tell the passion that you have, and if your staff has even half the amount of passion that you have for this place, then I think you got great things ahead of you.
Thank you.
Rick, it's nice to meet you.
Dan, it was a pleasure.
We'll go ahead and find out tomorrow's in Junction City.
Thank you.
That was the best part, like seeing their faces when they realized.
We need some more content, you know?